Hey everybody in here, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to draw the amazing Spider-Man from Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, I can't assume everybody knows who Spider-Man is, though he's such an iconic character, so I'll just splice in a photo of him here. Alright, so I went ahead and got down some basic guidelines here. Now that you know what he looks like, you can recognize what I'm trying to draw here. And when you get basic guidelines down, don't worry about what it'll look like. Final art tends to look very much different from final art tends to look very different from the basic guidelines in my situation. And there have been many Spider-Man movies in the past, but I'm going to base this Spider-Man on the one from the latest 2017 movie, Spider-Man Homecoming. The latest, and I think the most awesome one, because it's one of the only ones where he gets to what would you call that, interact with Iron Man, Tony Stark, and I think that's just one of the most awesome elements. And he gets this new spider suit that resembles Iron Man's almost, and I think that's just awesome. When you interact with Iron Man, he gives you all these new toys, and I think that's just a great way of mashing Marvels together. And in the past, there have been the Amazing Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, but I think Spider-Man Homecoming, even though I haven't watched it yet, I think the plot is just really cool. And right now, I'm just going to give you a little idea of what I'm doing here. I apologize because sometimes I go out of frame when I try to do these things, and now I'm just going to refocus a little and try to give my best advice on drawing Spider-Man. Alright, so I've refocused, and Spider-Man, his head is just this egg shape almost, but the egg goes, it's like an oval, but then it comes down here, so you can basically see the basic shape here that I'm trying to go for. And this is not an original illustration for Spider-Man. I'm definitely using reference. And what was I talking about before? I was referencing on how Spider-Man Homecoming is awesome because Spider-Man gets to interact with Iron Man. And Iron Man is another one of my favorites in Marvel. And I'm getting into eyes here. Gonna erase that area. I often have to do quite a bit of erasing when I draw these superheroes, because I will admit I'm not the best at drawing superheroes. I haven't done much superheroes in the past. I'm gonna start with the webbing, just some indication of the webbing. And I like doing these videos on how to draw things because I don't pay a lot of attention to that until I really start studying until I really start studying for on that character that I'm drawing, and it just helps for my knowledge of superheroes. And I think that's just I think that's why I enjoy doing these videos, because it really helps with my knowledge of these things, like Mickey Mouse. I looked at pictures and I had no idea. I didn't even bother trying to draw it. Mickey Mouse, the Steamboat Willie version, until I started drawing it and really studying it. And another of my how to draw videos is Hello Kitty. I really never tried to draw Hello Kitty very much because, you know, I'm a boy and all. I don't go watch or even look at Hello Kitty very often, but I think it's just a really great way of getting to know more about the topic. And I was also talking about Spider-Man Homecoming And now, and how Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man is one of the best superheroes that Marvel has created because he's a sophomore in high school, so we can relate to him easier than we can to Iron Man. Perhaps little kids, not little kids, perhaps like the high school students can relate to him and his personality, and because like Iron Man, maybe he'll do some good for adults, but Spider-Man, he's just this boy in Midtown High, New York, where I am actually currently in New York filming this video, so that's another reason why I love Iron Man, because he is living in New York. And at one time, I don't know, this is gonna tick you off, but at one time in Captain America Civil War, you know, I don't know if you've heard of that movie at all, but in one area, in one scene of Captain America Civil War, there is a drone shot of my apartment complex. And I'm sure there are many apartment complexes. I'm gonna tell you that there is a scene in Captain America Civil War where there is a drone shot of my apartment in New York, Queens. And I'm going to adjust the eyes here because I got the eyes totally wrong. I always imagined Spider-Man as... I always never really paid attention to these superheroes until I really started studying them. And then Spider-Man was one of the ones that really got my attention because he's a teenager and all. He's just a teenager fighting crime in the world. And then when he gets the attention of Tony Stark, I think that's when the real story really starts to unfold, and I think that's really awesome. Now I'm gonna go into time lapse for this last area because I need to get the webbing done, but I will be back to talk about how I did it and how to do it. Alright, so I also took this time to add some details to his shoe, and now I am going to add some the icon on his chest here, but I'm going to find the reference for that, and I'm going to come back and do that in real time. I found the reference, and I'm going to now teach you how to draw this icon on his chest. And it starts with a circle, and it comes down two ways here, and then it goes down like two parallel lines, and it comes down again like a triangle, almost like this, and then on the side, just like that. I think that's the best I could do. And like that. And that will be the Spider-Man icon. I'm just going to quickly go through some of this in shading. And now I am going to start doing some inking, which is my favorite part of this entire process. But sadly, I cannot do it in real time because we only have 15 minutes. And I want to show you some coloring tips as well. So let us get on with some inking. Alright, so I'm back, and now the inking is done, and I've given some time to dry before I took my kneaded eraser and erased it all away. And now I'm going to take my coloring tools and start coloring in some of this area. But before I do that, I'm gonna take my Pigma Micron pen and just add one more detail before we end this off. Right there. And now I'm going to take a Mala marker, which is my usual marker that I use in these videos, and I am going to start coloring this, but I'm gonna add one last detail in the inking process before I begin this coloring process. And what I usually do with the coloring is I develop an outline around it like that before I start coloring in the rest. Like that. Alright, so now that the outline is complete, I'm going to go into time lapse to finish off this leg. Well, there's my video on how to draw Spider-Man from Spider-Man Homecoming. I hope you enjoyed this video, and while I did those blue pens, I also took the time to color in the red part of his suit with red colored pencil. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit the like button, and if you like my other videos, please also check out my YouTube channel. It is in the link below, and I hope you come back for more next time. But for now, I want to thank all of you for watching, and that we will be back next time.